Hi, welcome everyone. This was supposed to start at around 12:30, so we're going to have a bit of early start since the previous speakers finished earlier, and we have some time. So I'm from Neogen Chemicals India. I'm here to introduce our company, what we do, and what can you expect from us today and what are we doing in future. And also I want to tell you a bit about bromine is always associated with Dead Sea, Israel. And so other than, India is also slowly becoming stronger in bromine manufacturing and because of that also in bromine compounds. So through the history of my company, also want to tell you a bit about the history of how bromine developed in India. So our company, Neogen Chemicals, we are into manufacturing of bromine compounds, lithium compounds, Grignard reagents. You just heard the previous speaker talk a bit about that. And some of these we do. And we are also doing much more advanced chemistry. This company was started by my father. So it's currently a family-owned company. This was started by my father. He's a chemical engineer from IIT Mumbai, which is one of the oldest or one of the best chemical engineering companies institutes in India. And I also did my bachelor's from chemical engineering from IIT Mumbai, then worked for my company, went to US. I did my PhD from University of Maryland College Park near Washington, DC. I worked with DuPont as a research scientist for about 3 years. And then last 5 or 6 years, I've come back, helped my father take the company to the new level. Okay, so why bromine? So everybody or many people in India affectionately calls my dad the bromine man. The reason why he's called the bromine man is because he was the first person in India to make bromine from seawater back in 1972. So he developed indigenous technology just out of IIT, worked for a year, and then started to make bromine. Pretty big challenge, if I may say, because that time in India there were so many restrictions, to do something. So that was the birth of bromine in India in the 70s. Unfortunately, the first mover always pays. So there was a natural calamity in 1974, which destroyed his plant. There was a flood. There was a dam which broke, flooded the entire region. Almost 5,000 people died. His plant got destroyed. And after that, and he didn't have flood insurance because he was the technocrat. So he made a huge loss. So for 10 years, he helped other people make bromine. So he made bromine, then he helped other people make bromine. And once he has helped enough people to make bromine, he says, okay, I'm going to now make bromine compounds. So in 1989, Neogen started to make bromine compounds. So that's how Neogen started and the bromine compounds came in. Today, over last 24 years, we have grown from zero to almost close to a team of about 85 people. We also have a very strong team where people have been with us. I mean, people who joined with us in 91 still work, are now slowly starting to retire. So we have almost people with 20, 25 years experience handling bromine compounds. And other than me, who has done a PhD in chemical engineering, we have our R&D head is PhD in chemistry, and our QA head is PhD in analytical chemistry. So we have a very strong technical team with a little bit of experience also in commercial, managing Neogen. Our existing plant is located in Navi Mumbai. This is Navi Mumbai stands for just New Bombay, like new expansion of Bombay city. So it's hardly 30 kilometers from the Bombay airport and 30 kilometers from Nhava Sheva port. So it's a very convenient location. We get really good talent because we are close to Mumbai city and we are close to the port. So shipments and everything is much more easier. Sorry. Yeah. So along with bromine, so even though we started with bromine, many of our customers started saying that, okay, yes, you're doing bromine, you're good, I like you, why aren't you doing more? So they started asking us to do some more chemistries. So we started combining bromination with chlorination. So we added a chlorination piece. As you might know, a lot of bromines are used as acid derivatives. So we started making bromo acid esters. So we started adding esterification. And because we were doing bromine and chlorine, and in the 90s in India, there was nobody doing Grignards. So very few, very small companies. So, and as you know, Grignards are difficult to ship. So we started getting into Grignard reagents. So it's all started with bromine and then doing little more based on our customer request. And then last few years, we also started doing more. So they also asked us to do after bromination, alkylation, amination, oxidation, dehalogenation, silylation. So basically just doing some more steps. So before they said, my customer said, I don't want to do bromination. You are the bromine expert, do the bromination. Now they say, even I don't want to manage organobromides. So why don't you manage the organobromides and give me a nice, clean, non-toxic product, which is very good in my GMP-approved, US FDA-approved plants. So that's how we've grown. And another piece of the puzzle is lithium salts. So we do, because we did lithium bromide, so lithium bromide is something which is used in refrigeration. And when this technology came to India in 1980s, our company was the first one to make it. And even now, all refrigeration machines using lithium bromide works on our lithium bromide. So I kind of want to say like Intel inside. So I wanted to tell my dad we should have Neogen inside in all the refrigeration products. So that's us, lithium. And I did my PhD in biocatalysis, biotransformation. So we also started working with biocatalysis. So again, because we have a very good relationship with almost all the API manufacturing companies, they said, hey, you know biotechnology, why don't you give us intermediates using biocatalysis? So this is something also that we're doing. So this is just about our company's business. So almost 60% of the business is pharma. We also have 20% of business in agro, 20% engineering business. So yeah, this is how our make. And then 2% pie is electronics, perfumery, a lot of other small applications clubbed together. This is how our company has grown. So when I joined our company first time in 2001, we did the first expansion. So since then, our company is now 6 times the size it was. So we are almost, and even after I came back from US, in last 5 or 6 years, we have grown almost 2.5 times. So this is just our growth. As you can see, on the way, we've done 3 expansions. The first one was in 2002. Second one was in 2006, 2007. And the third one, most recent, was around 2012. And we feel we are in Navi Mumbai, which is close to a city, quite congested area with very high land prices. So we think we have utilized this site completely. And we're going to now set up a new site, about which I'll tell you in a minute. We are also into exports. So we started doing exports to Europe in '98. So almost 15 years experience now in exports to US in 2001 and to Japan in 2002. One of the things which I'm really proud of, that my first customers are my customer even now. So, and that's the same thing which is true even in India. So once we get a customer, we retain them for a really long period. So this is something which I'm really proud of. Overall, my company exports about 40 to 50% of our business comes from internationally, and 40 to 50% domestic. So we are kind of half-half. We also can give you DDP service. So customers in Europe, especially like if they're buying from Europe, they don't want to do the hassle of clearance and things like that, calculate custom duties and changes. So we just tell them, we'll give you DDP. Whatever rates you are getting from your European source, just compare with that. So we do give the DDP service. And because our exports have been increasing, the government of India has also given us a Star Export House certificate. So I told you I'll tell you a bit about bromine situation in India. So in 1972, as I mentioned, my dad set up the first bromine plant with indigenous technologies. And subsequent to that, today we have a very thriving bromine production. So we have almost now 3 plants, each of them close to around 10 to 15,000 tons capacity. And totally, we have around 30 to 35,000 metric ton bromine production. And now India's got so good at bromine that one of the manufacturer is completely focused on selling bromine to China. So it's India now selling bromine to China, not just importing. We still do import, but yeah, we also export now bromine. And this is a big advantage for bromine manufacturer because locally we have almost 6 companies, so we don't have to rely on one. We have multiple sources, and they all make bromine enough for our quantity, and it's also very competitive. We also work with international bromine manufacturers, and so we have good relationship both locally as well as internationally. And one of the good thing which separates us from other organobromides manufacturer that we are not dependent on a single bromine supplier. So we can source, if one has a problem, we can get from other, and we have the diversity of our supply in bromine. So I told you, I'll tell you a little bit about our expansion plan. So our existing site is completely filled up. So we are coming up with 2 new sites in Gujarat. The first one is dedicated only for exports, which is going to come up in a special economic zone in 2016. And the second one is coming up in 2017, which will be for the domestic market. In addition to existing chemistry, we are also planning to add bromine fluorine compounds, bromine iodine compounds, because we're already doing bromine chlorine, so they said, why not? And there are not many companies who are doing that. We're also going to do hydrogenation because some of the customers want, after bromination, a hydrogenation step. Right now, we are making a lot of Grignards for the domestic, and we're not able to sell this internationally because there's always difficulty in supplying Grignards internationally. So instead, many of my customers are asking me, why don't you do the Grignard reaction at your place and give us a product which is safe to transport? So this is also something which we're planning to do. And in terms of end use, we are focusing again more on advanced API intermediates, fine chemicals for electronics, contract manufacturing, and biocatalysis for chiral intermediates. To tell you a bit about where this plant is, and this is something which would be of interest, our plant is going to be in the Dahej SEZ, Special Economic Zone. This is in the Bombay-Delhi corridor, which is being developed by Government of India. So you can see the dot here. This is Mumbai, this is New Delhi, and this is the corridor which the Government of India is focusing on developing as an industrial corridor. And we are located right in the middle, near the Dahej, where the Special Economic Zone is going to come. And both the plants are going to be very close. So this is a blow-up of the tiny dot that you just saw. So the Dahej 1 is where our first export-oriented plant is going to come. And then somewhere near Vilayat is where our second. And just to give you an idea of size, these new plants are going to be 10 times the existing plant in terms of land area, and almost 4 times the existing plant in terms of the reactor capacities. We always like to give, while we are after quantities, quality is something which we always take care of first. So we always like to give quality better than what the customer needs. And when I say this, I don't say that the customer doesn't know what he wants. It's just to make sure or to give the peace of mind to a customer. So if a customer tells us that, I want a specific impurity to be below some particular limit, we make an internal limit at 50% and make sure none of our supplies exceed that. And because of this policy, we have a very, very low rejection rates. Just to give you a little bit more about our quality, so we follow ICH Q7A CGMP guidelines as applicable for intermediates. We've done up to N-2 stage intermediates, which have been audited, approved by customers. We are a ISO 9001 certified plant. About 10% of our company staff is dedicated for QC and QA, and it's headed by a PhD in analytical chemistry, who before joining Neogen has managed a US FDA EDQM approved API manufacturing facility. So we have good understanding of the CGMP requirements for intermediates. We have a well-equipped lab with all UV, HPLCs, GCs internally. And we've been audited by almost close to 37 local and international companies from Europe, Japan, and US. We also have a very active R&D. Every year, we do 12 to 15 new projects with about 50% success rate. So every year we are coming up with 6 to 7 new molecules. We again have about 10% of our staff, which is like dedicated for R&D. We also are looking now more towards doing custom manufacturing. So we have customers in Japan, Europe, as well as India, who have asked us under confidentiality agreement. They have given us like their technology to manufacture their product. So they are transferring their bromination products or needs to us. And as you can see, currently we have about 70,000 meter cube of reactor capacity. We can do a broad range of temperature reactions. We can do vacuum distillations and handle solid products in agitated niche filters and dryers. And we can also do up to 5-stage reactions with control of quality at each stage. Also, we like to be with our customers right from the ground stage. So we're not only interested if you have a 100 metric ton, 200 metric ton inquiry. We are equally interested in your 1 kg or 100 gram inquiries, because we work very closely with all the customers in India, as well as now customers in Europe and Japan in very early phase 1, phase 2 kind of stage, so that we can optimize the quality. We understand many of these projects could fail, but still we like to give equal commitment for that. And the advantage is that whenever you scale up, you get the same quality that you got in your R&D in your plant. So the scale up and the transfer to commercial is very easy. With that, just a broad category of products that we make, starting from alkyl bromides to dibromoalkanes, bromochloroalkanes, bromobenzene and its derivatives, some special bromine compounds like unsaturated bromides, or bromides with a ketone group, or bromides with an acetal group, bromoderivatives of organic acids. We do Grignard reagents, bromo acids and their esters. And because we were doing so good with bromine chlorine compounds, some of our customers also requested us to make the specialty chlorine compounds. So this is also something that we make. And the last piece is the lithium salts, so the inorganic lithium salts, which is mostly for the pharma and the engineering industry. So that's it. Thank you, everyone, for your time. Just to go back, we are located in Hall 5, very close from here, in booth number 5C53. So you're welcome to visit us. Tomorrow afternoon is kind of light, so I'll be there. And if I'm not there, my colleagues can buzz me, and I can come over and have a meeting with you. And with this, I'll take any questions. Thank you. Thanks. No, so currently so the question was, do you recycle the bromine? So currently, we are catering mostly to the pharma customers. And whenever you recycle bromine, it's not a good idea to recycle bromine waste from one product into another. So to make sure that this doesn't happen, in the existing site, we don't recycle the bromine. However, there are manufacturers in India who make some alkyl bromides for agro intermediates. So they happily take the bromine waste, so it doesn't go directly in the effluent. And at our new site, we are going to have some molecules which are sufficiently large volume, where I mentioned our customers are asking us to do further reaction and bromine is coming out. So there we have kept a provision for, let's say, 500 ton, 1,000 ton kind of volumes, that we recycle the bromine and it goes back to the same molecule, so that the impurity profile doesn't get disturbed. Yeah. Thank you. Any other questions? Well, thank you so much for your time. And I look forward to seeing some of you soon. Thank you.